Twitter is just a absolute kind of mess when it comes to people trolling. I've had a couple of issues when it comes to politics, whether it be specific types of things that are happening in Parliament. One of which was there was a situation where the government had the Offensive Behaviour at Football Act, and the Labour Party and the opposition parties wanted to repeal it. And I was been supportive of it because I'm one supporter. I've been involved in football, followed football all my life, and I thought it was a good thing to have that kind of, because there was a specific problem with certain aspects of supporters, but supporters from certain clubs just started used it as a part of their campaign, and they just kept being, and more and more it became quite abusive towards me with regards. It wasn't just about politics or my decision over their decision or my thoughts over their thoughts. It was just that I was an idiot. I didn't know what I was doing, and it was just insults flying backwards and forwards, which seems to be the way things happen in modern politics all over the world. It seems to be the way of things. So I know there's always going to be an aspect to that in politics. There always has been, where people will just shout at you and just say how bad you are at your job because they don't agree with you and don't want to do what you want. You don't believe in your ideals and your beliefs. But it's worse now because they can hide behind a keyboard. I know of colleagues, Mary Black is a perfect example where she gets abuse because she's a young female and also because she is a lesbian because of her sexuality. And I know some of the stuff that's said to her is absolutely disgusting, you know, and I've seen some of it that's directed at her as well. And if that'd been my daughter, she's age as my daughter, I can only think how I'd feel if that was my daughter. I would literally want to find out where they lived and go around and see them. But when it's me, I tend to be more of the kind of, well, it's the job I've got, it's the way I go on. So I'm maybe kind of judge it a wee bit different. There has been certain issues I've had where one in particular, there was a clinical decision by the NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde to close the children's ward at the RAH and move it to the new state-of-the-art children's hospital, which is 10 minutes away, just next to what used to be the Southern General as the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Now, I'd supported the campaign when it was York Hill was the children's hospital because it was too far for someone to go at that stage under the Clyde Tunnel. But at this stage, and I remember putting up one of my granddaughter Daisy when she was very young, and some Labour troll coming on to me and saying, "Oh well, and I wonder how you'll feel when you shut that Ward 15 and your granddaughter dies if she's going to the hospital." And I took that one really personally. I don't mind when they have a go at me. I can take a go at me. I've had attacks. My wife has MS, multiple sclerosis, and she's a wheelchair user. I've had certain people attack me because your wife's an effing cripple and things like that as well, you know, and stuff like that, which is really personal. And I kind of go, well, yeah, am I wrong for putting my wife Stacey and I met in the SNP, so she's as political as I am. So am I wrong for putting me and Stacey in the limelight? Should I just be me? But again, people like to see the family, the person, who you are. You know, they want to know more about you. They like the personal side of things. And they like to see, oh, there's just a grandkid, you know, and oh, look, she's big now and things like that. The majority of people are actually great about it. But the minority end up, and now I'm a bit wary about, especially the grandkids, I'm a bit wary about putting stuff up. A councillor in Renfrewshire Council who was particularly abusive online, and it was the first time I had heard that nobody could do anything about it because the site that was used was, because he wrote a blog, and the site he used on his blog was in a server which was in the States, I think, in America. So they couldn't do anything because they would have to be, or if you did, you would have to get a lawyer and do it under American law, or whatever state it was in America, that law, in order to do it. And I think that's part of the problem. I think it's something we need to deal with. I think we need to find a way with international law to try and say, well, we've got this thing called the internet. But then People will say, but you're trying to police the internet. You can't police the internet. And to a certain degree, they're right. But there needs to be some kind of moral code or decency. And then people will say, well, whose moral code and whose ethics and decency are you wanting to do it for? So that's where it becomes really difficult. And I think there should be a way that internet service providers should get together and actually say, right, we're not going to allow this kind of level of abuse, and if somebody gets reported. But I think there needs to be some form of rules and regulations, but how you manage to do that throughout the world, that's a difficult bit. If someone had been able to do it, bar getting a magic wand, I think it's going to be a difficult thing to do. When you have to write a letter to an MP or an MSP to say, dear Mr. Adam, I am appalled at what you've recently done. You had to think about what you were writing because you knew you were putting it onto paper and it was going to post it in the post box and it was going to appear in my office and a member of my staff was going to see it. But now they just go on to, I'm on to Twitter and I'm just going to give you dogs abuse. And that's what ends up happening. So it's a great tool, but it can also be, and I don't think I get anywhere near the worst of the abuse. I know it might be down to my attitude, but I think it's also down to the I don't get anywhere near the, because I'm a middle-aged man, heterosexual male, so there's a good chance that I'm not ticking boxes that people who are out there just want to hate are going to go for. But when you are the First Minister, she gets unbelievable trolls on her. People would say, well, that's because she's the First Minister that's really embraced social media and she's always been involved in it. My answer would be, no, it's because she's a woman. That's nearly all. It's down to how she looks, what her hair's like, what she's wearing, if she's a wee bit overweight or not overweight. It's never about her politics. So I think there's key people in politics that get it a lot harder than what I do in any of the kind of social media sites. And obviously the First Minister, how she managed to deal with it, we've seen some of that, because no matter how much you say you ignore it and things like that, it must play in your mind, when you get these things. So there's a whole group of, we keep saying we want to make politicians and politics representative of society. Well, that's not going to happen when you put your head above the parapet and everybody's going to tell you how fat you are and ugly you are and the 140 characters or less.